All right, today I'm here with, I will say his name the right way the first time, but then after that it's Pops. Phil Willson, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing pretty good.
And he is known as Pops. If you know, then you know. But Pops, you served in the United States Navy, is that correct? What years did you serve?
72 to 75.
Okay. Did you, and you obviously, did you get drafted? That draft was probably done by then.
No, I joined.
You joined?
It was over.
Yeah, by that point. Did you just go in straight out of high school?
Yes.
Okay. What made you pick the Navy?
I don't know. I've always liked the Navy.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Did your grandparents or father, anyone in your family serve before you?
My uncle served. He was in the Air Force.
Okay, so it wasn't one of those things where it was like dad was Navy, grandpa was Navy. What'd you do while you were in the Navy?
I was a machinist mate, and I worked actually right in the very bottom of the ship.
Okay.
And run distillers to distill salt water into fresh water.
Okay, cool.
There was 4 of them, and there was 2 great big generators.
So how does that, now this is interesting because I've always wondered how that worked. Because you have such a source of water when you're on the water, and you can't just bring, tubs and tankers of water with you. You got to be able to figure it out. So how does that process work?
Well, the steam that the engines make is what they steam it, and it all up.
So the heat from the engine steam that salt water, takes the vapor, converts it into water, cleans it, I'm assuming.
Clean water, yeah.
Yeah, wow. How much, do you remember how fast you guys would go? How many gallons could you make in a day?
I don't have no idea.
You're just constantly making sure it's on.
Yeah, making sure all the gauges are
where they're
supposed to be.
That's cool. How was it being in the bottom of the ship?
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Really? Not a claustrophobic person or anything like that?
I wasn't then. I am now. But I wasn't then.
Yeah.
No, it didn't bother me a bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
If I wanted some air, I just
go upstairs,
go up on the flight deck or the hangar deck and
get some air.
Just sit there and look out, watch the dolphins.
Where'd you end up going underway?
North Fork, Virginia.
Okay.
And we went out from there. I didn't actually get to go over to Nam, but I was in at the last part of it.
Yeah. So, when everything was kind of getting, I wouldn't say resolved, but winding down. Let's put it that way. Did you go anywhere overseas while you're in the Navy?
No.
So,
I was on an aircraft carrier, and we just stayed here in the States.
Wow! Until just in case they needed you, but they never really did.
We was ready to go.
Yeah. So Virginia the whole time.
Yep.
How'd you like Virginia?
Oh, I loved it.
Really?
Virginia Beach.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go over to the Norfolk Air Base over there, Naval Station.
Yeah. It's a pretty big area for that stuff, for sure. It's massive. If people don't know, if you've ever been there, it's like a metropolis, but for the military, essentially.
And that shipyard over there.
Oh, man, it's
huge.
You've never seen anything like it until you see it, and you see these ships that are literally like skyscrapers on the side in the water, and you're like, wow.
Yeah,
it definitely kind of cuts you down at the knees the first time you see it as a person, because in photos and video it doesn't do it justice. It's like going to DC for the first time.
Right.
You think you see the Lincoln Memorial and all that stuff, and you're like, oh, it's got to be small, and you're like, you walk up to it the first time, you're like, oh no, this is the real deal. This is huge. Everything is huge.
Yeah, I know the first year that we started Liberty Riders, we went to D.C. And I got to see all that.
Yeah.
And that was...
It just blows you away.
That was breathtaking.
You don't really understand it until you see it, until you're there, and then you're like, okay, wow, this is intense. Are you from this area?
Yeah, I was raised in Kabul.
So for a guy that's from the Ozarks, is it true that when they say Virginia is for lovers?
I don't know. I was single when I got there, and I was single when
Oh, man. Oh, I hate to hear that. So you got out in 75, is that what you said? What did you do after you got out?
Well, I went back and visited my mom for a while. I've done construction work. And then I got into truck driving or ambulance service.
Okay.
I worked for Mountain Grove Ambulance for 10, 11 years. You know,
how'd you like that?
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Really?
And I was also on the fire department down there. And
because the volunteer, it's probably volunteer down
yeah,
there.
it's volunteer.
Yeah. That's cool. It's really cool. You're also part of the Liberty Riders of America.
Yes.
Tell the people about that. What do you guys do?
Okay, it's a veterans organization. We don't actually help veterans and as far as buying stuff for them or something like that. What we do, we've got people in D.C. Ours is mostly done political, like helping them get their grants or whatever. All
so basically lobbying for veterans'
yeah,
rights.
that's it.
Yeah. Make sure that people
and we enjoy it.
Yeah, you guys do a lot of good stuff around here. We've been involved with
we
you
do
for
a lot of
years
stuff around here, and it wouldn't bother none of us to go out and help a veteran, just volunteer.
Yeah, well, and I think you guys definitely put your money where your mouth is as far as doing what needs to be done, because you know what, if you want to enact change, how you got to do it.
Yeah.
And grassroots stuff's great and all that stuff locally is great. There is an abundance of that. What we really need is to make sure that someone's speaking for veterans in D.C., because a lot of times that doesn't happen.
That's true.
So,
there's a lot of places that don't even honor their veterans very much.
No, I know. Oh, I know. Every time I see one in the grocery store or gas station,
if
I see a guy wearing a hat, thank you for the service every single time.
That's true.
And that in itself is something. If any, it's kind of like the mantra of if everyone just gave respect to each other, God, can you imagine what this world would be like, regardless of your stance politically or whatever it is. If you just respect the other person sitting across from you, God, same thing with being nice saying thanks to a veteran. Doesn't take nothing.
Right.
Saying thank you to someone. How hard is that? It doesn't have anything to do with political affiliation or anything. None. And it's just a simple act of kindness.
Because if it wasn't for veterans, what would this United States be?
What would this world be like?
Right.
Yeah, completely different world. It wouldn't just be this country. It'd be a different world.
A lot of them went over and died. Yep. A lot of them come back injured, no legs or whatever.
Been dealing with that stuff for years and years and years. Yep.
That's true.
And it's all about showing appreciation, which a simple thank you means the world to someone. I mean, and in a world where a lot of people don't or aren't accountable, and that's an issue, I think that's a big thing right now that we're not seeing.
That's true.
So thank you for what you do and did in the Navy and continue to do. You guys got anything coming up in the near future for the Liberty Riders?
Yeah, we're in June. It's going to be the first one was last year. Is that Pikes Peak ride?
Oh yeah. So you went all the way up there, huh?
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't able to go, and I probably won't be able to this year. But some of them are going. And they last year they couldn't make it up because it started freezing rain and snowing on them before they got to the top.
That's why they got those little turnoffs, because if that happens, you don't want to be stuck.
So they changed the date of it this year to where they'd be going up more in the summertime.
Well, so June, that'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Because it's still, there's only probably 2 or 3 months out of the year that it couldn't snow up there.
Right.
But it still gets cold enough, too, up there.
But I think we're going to try to do it every year in honor of Terry Willie.
Yeah, that's
Tiny.
Good. Yeah,
Tiny. He's the one that started it. And I think they're going to try to do it every year if possible.
I hope they can.
And it's in honor of him.
Awesome. Well, our food is here. Pops, thank you so much for coming to lunch with me today, and thank you so much for your service, sir.
Well, it's an honor.